Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. We begin from the National Assembly, where the Nigerian Senate has confirmed Chief of Defense Staff designate General Olufemi Oluyede as it began the screening of the newly appointed service chiefs at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. Oluyede was confirmed barely an hour after he and other nominees arrived at the complex amidst tight security. Welcoming the nominees to the chamber, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, described the screening as a constitutional duty aimed at ensuring that only the most competent and patriotic officers are entrusted with safeguarding the nation. The push to create a Legislative Security Directorate in Nigeria's National Assembly is gaining momentum. State assemblies and parliamentary staff are backing the proposal, but some security agencies warn it could create conflict in the system. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick has details.
It was a day of mixed reactions at the National Assembly as lawmakers, security chiefs, and other stakeholders debated a new bill seeking to establish a special directorate to oversee parliamentary security. Chairman, House Committee on Internal Security, Garba Mohammed, says the bill aims to adopt global best practices in parliamentary security and safeguard the operations of the National Assembly.
Effective security management needs a total approach that requires various elements to be integrated together in order to secure our environment for legislative procedure to function effectively and maximally. That is why this bill is very important, because it seeks to address all the challenges as aforesaid and adopted world-based practices of parliamentary security procedures and architecture.
But not everyone is fully sold on the idea. Representing the Inspector General of Police, AIG Emmanuel Aino, warned that a separate directorate may duplicate existing rules. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps also raised caution, citing systems in countries like the United States and Canada where police play the primary role in parliamentary security. Yet state houses of assembly are lining up in support, calling the proposal timely and necessary.
At this very important point in time, we really need this piece of legislation to help and enforce, fortify, and improve our nascent democracy.
The Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria also declared its full support. On concerns over whether the new corps would bear arms, the National Assembly Sergeant-at-Arms says only trained officers would be permitted.
The Sergeant-at-Arms shall be involved in the recruitment process of all personnel of the Directorate in terms of training, sensitization, and induction, bearing in mind paramilitary nature of the duties expected of such personnel.
The committee is expected to review all submissions before presenting the bill for further legislative action as the debate continues on how best to secure Nigeria's parliament. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Let's move away from the National Assembly and tell you that after backlash for granting a presidential pardon to Mariam Sanda, sentenced to death in 2020 for killing her husband, Biliamin, President Bola Tinubu has revoked the pardon and reversed her sentence to 12 years. This was revealed in an official gazette released by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. According to the Gazette, Sanda, who had already spent 6 years and 8 months at the Suleja Medium Security Custodial Center, got the new approved term on compassionate ground. Now, as preparations intensify ahead of the Anambra State governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has reaffirmed its readiness to conduct a free, fair, and credible poll. The Commission, in collaboration with Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, says all necessary measures have been put in place to ensure a peaceful exercise. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, in partnership with the Office of the National Security Advisor, convened the regular quarterly meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja as part of final preparations for the Anambra governorship election. Welcoming participant, INEC Chairman Professor George Amopitan expressed appreciation to members of the security and intelligence community for their continued collaboration, describing the meeting as a crucial step in ensuring a safe and credible electoral process.
As we are all aware, the Anambra election is scheduled for Saturday, 8th day of November 2025, just 11 days away. Following a week-long comprehensive readiness assessment conducted across the states, the Commission is confident in affirming its full preparedness for the polls.
The election just 11 days away, Professor Amopitan announced that INEC has completed a comprehensive readiness assessment across Anambra State, expressing confidence that the Commission is fully prepared for the November 8th poll. The INEC chairman commended the efforts of security agencies in creating a safe environment, emphasizing that credible elections are only possible where security is granted. Representative of the Police, Department for State Security, and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the military assured of robust deployments and coordinated patrols before, during, and after the election, pledging to maintain law and order across all polling areas. Representing the National Security Advisor, Nuri Badu, Director of Internal Security, Hassan Yahya Abdullahi, highlighted the extensive security arrangements put in place to deter violence and ensure a smooth process.
Any form of violence during the elections will be met with strong, uncompromising response. Nigerian Police, as the lead agency for election security, along with other security agencies, stands prepared and resolute to maintain a secure environment during the Anambra State governorship election. We call upon all citizens to collaborate and commit to a peaceful electoral process.
The Nigerian Police Force, as the lead agency for election security, reaffirmed its readiness to safeguard voters and election officials, urging citizens to conduct themselves peacefully and uphold democratic values throughout the process. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
Let's now move away from politics to diplomatic matters, where Nigeria and the European Union have resolved to strengthen diplomatic relations and to chart a new chapter in interstate and interparliamentary relations. Our correspondent, Ramzi Enoch Agbo, reports.
Nigeria has become the 77th shareholder of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, as part of efforts to deepen its long-standing partnership with the European Union, EU. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, announced this during a meeting with a visiting delegation from the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee in Abuja.
We have a lot of lessons to learn from the European Union, that incidentally also is still talking about how to integrate more. So it gives us hope, and it is clearly a model that we seek to emulate, and we are rest assured here to do whatever is necessary to strengthen those ties, the existing ties, and to continue to work and collaborate with the European Union.
Speaking on behalf of the delegation, David McAllister, a member of the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, said the 6-member team was visiting Nigeria to better understand developments in Africa, particularly in West Africa, as he described Nigeria as a strategic partner and a major political and economic power in the region.
Nigeria is considered as a strategic partner for the European Union. We have a long-lasting, good and close relationship based on shared values and also on joint interests. The European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee travels with smaller delegations a few times a year to other parts of the world, and we mainly travel to get to know better the countries, to understand better the challenges these countries are facing, also the opportunities these countries have, and we are also there to very carefully listen.
This visit was a reflection of Europe's recognition of Nigeria's central role in Africa's future. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has promoted several of its officers in recognition of their dedication and exceptional service. The decoration ceremony took place at the agency's headquarters in Abuja. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, reports.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has once again recognized excellence within its ranks as officers and men of the agency were promoted to new positions in a ceremony aimed at boosting morale and reinforcing commitment to duty. Chairman and Chief Executive of the agency, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, said the agency has consistently upheld the tradition of rewarding outstanding performance through promotions and commendations over the past 4 years.
We celebrate those who, despite facing immense danger and relentless temptation, chose the path of honor, integrity, selflessness, and uncompromising adherence to our mandate.
He said the ceremony is not only about their achievements, but reaffirms the agency's belief in hard work, loyalty, and integrity in the service of the nation. Brigadier General Marwa described the fight against drug trafficking and abuse as a major national challenge, warning that the menace fuels other crimes such as terrorism, banditry, and corruption.
On our two major planks of drug demand reduction and drug supply reduction, leading to 45,853 arrests, seizure of over 8.5 million kilograms of assorted illicit drugs, and conviction of 9,263 offenders.
He described abuse and trafficking as a threat to the social fabric, economic stability, and national security of Nigeria. The NDLEA boss emphasized the need to sustain the morale of officers through incentives, training, and continuous professional development for operational excellence. Among dignitaries at the events were members of the House of Representatives and senior government officials who commended the agency for its unwavering efforts in combating drug-related crimes. Sadia Yakubu reporting for Global Television News.
The education sector, where the Tertiary Education Trust Fund has commissioned a newly Faculty of Social Science Lecture Theatre and Office Complex at the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, reaffirming its commitment to improving infrastructure and academic standards in Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Our correspondent, Jumai Manson, reports.
The commissioning ceremony held at the university's main campus in KEFI, dignitaries, university officials, and TED Fund representatives to celebrate the completion of the 2020-2021 Merge Annual Intervention Project, a 717 million naira facility designed to enhance teaching, learning, and research. Right Honorable Aminu Masari described the project as proof of TED Fund's transparency and impact in higher education. He commended the university's management led by Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman for ensuring the judicious use of the intervention funds.
This project stands as yet another visible testimony of our collective commitment to strengthening Nigeria's higher education through Nigerian higher education system in line with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR.
Representing the Executive Secretary, Architect Babatunde Olajide said the timely completion of the project reflects strong collaboration between TED Fund, the university, and the state government. He affirmed the fund's commitment to continued support for quality infrastructure and innovation-driven learning nationwide.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, management and staff of TED Fund, I wish to commend the leadership of the university for their dedication and prudent utilization of intervention funds granted by TED Fund. The timely completion of any project is indeed an accomplishment that is worth applauding.
Vice Chancellor Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman appreciated TED Fund's transformative interventions, noting that positive impact on teaching, research, and students' access to quality education.
Bearing in mind we have 4 campuses, that means that at the end of the day, Nasarawa State University KFI will be paying more than almost up to 55 million every month for the power they are consuming in their university. And therefore, we are calling on TED Fund and passionately requesting to also pay attention to the issue of power supply in higher institutions of learning in Nigeria.
Jumai Manson reporting for Global Television.
Nigerians living with disabilities have called on the government to provide employment opportunities to members. Unemployment remains a pressing issue in Nigeria, and persons living with disabilities are urging greater support. Our correspondent, Ubong Usoro, reports.
Speaking in Abuja, the association said that despite having skills and qualifications, many of its members continue to face barriers in securing employment due to discrimination and lack of accessibility in workplaces. They called on both the federal and state governments to implement inclusive policies, ensuring that persons with disabilities can contribute meaningfully to the nation's workforce. The association also urged private organizations to open their doors to persons with disabilities, noting that inclusion is not just a moral obligation, but a step towards national development. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
Let's head to Kano State and tell you that as part of efforts and activities marking the 2025 Fire Week, 100 police officers are undergoing fire safety training across the state. The program, held at the police headquarters in Kano, highlights the need for joint effort in tackling fire menaces. Our correspondent, Idris Jibrin, was at the opening ceremony and files in this report.
Drawn from the 44 local government divisional headquarters and police outposts across Kano State, these officers are being trained on fire safety to better protect their formations and respond effectively in case of emergencies. Considering the impact of climate change, the Kano State government has put necessary measures in place to safeguard both lives and property and remain committed to supporting the fire service in carrying out its duties effectively.
Considering the climate change and the situation that we've been witnessing due to climate change, the government has put in place a lot of measures trying to see what it could do to mitigate the impact of the climate change in the state.
Addressing the participant, the Kano State Commissioner of Police Ibrahim Bakuri emphasized the importance of collaboration between the police and the fire service to ensure quick response to fire outbreaks.
This collaboration is not only a personal role, but also a reflection of the strong partnership and collaboration between the Nigerian Police Force and Federal Fire Service in Kano State. And I assure you that the Kano State Police Command will continue to prioritize fire safety measures in all its activities and facilities.
In the coming days, the Federal Fire Service, in collaboration with the Nigeria Police, will embark on a sensitization campaign across Kano State to educate residents on fire prevention and safety measures. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, federal government secures 700 billion to deploy 1.1 million meters by December 2025. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where the federal government has secured about 700 billion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee to finance the deployment of 1.1 million electricity meters across Nigeria by December 2025. Minister of Power Adelabu Adebayo announced this in Lagos at the 2025 Nigeria Energy Forum themed Powering Nigeria through Investment, Innovation and Partnership. Adelabu said the initiative is part of the Presidential Metering Initiative, a comprehensive plan to close Nigeria's metering gap, strengthen revenue assurance, and promote transparency in electricity supply. The Nigerian Senate has commended President Bola Tinubu and the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and key anti-graft and financial institutions for their coordinated efforts that led to the removal of Nigeria from the Financial Action Task Force grey list. The commendation followed a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Senator Emmanuel Udende, APC Benue State, and our correspondent, Topsy Gimba, reports.
Senator Emmanuel Udende noted that the first recent announcement marks a major milestone in Nigeria's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing reforms, reflecting the country's strong commitment to global financial integrity standards. He recalled that Nigeria's previous inclusion on the grey list has exposed the country to intense international scrutiny, reducing investor confidence and restricting access to global financial markets.
The fact that Nigeria has been delisted from the grey list, and the resultant effect is that immediately Nigeria was delisted, Naira appreciated. Even at the black market, when it was selling at 1,485, dropped down, Naira appreciated to 1,475.
Lawmakers expressed delight that Nigeria's removal from the list has boosted investor confidence, restored the country's financial credibility, and reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and accountability. The Senate further observed that the delisting will improve trade facilitation and remittance inflows as Nigerian financial institutions now enjoy smoother and faster cross-border transactions. In adopting the motion, the upper chamber commended President Tinubu, the Senate President, and all relevant agencies for their leadership and collaboration in achieving the milestone.
Will go a long way in boosting investor confidence in Nigeria, because this singular act has brought our anti-financial crime laws in tandem with international best practices.
1 year, they've brought a lot of integrity into our economy, and that is the result we are getting now. Last week, we remember, Senate President, you allowed a motion to commend EFCC for the work that they are doing.
Well, you have been able to represent Nigeria effectively. Even at the International IMF meeting, you were able to get them to apologize to Nigeria for the statement they made.
The Senate also urged regulatory, financial, and law enforcement agencies to consolidate on the gains by maintaining continuous compliance with international standards and strengthening institutional coordination to prevent any relapse. It further mandated its Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes to sustain oversight and legislative reviews that will enhance Nigeria's financial governance framework and ensure the country remains a global benchmark for transparency and integrity. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
Rounds on the foreign scene. The ongoing visa policy controversy between the United States and Mali has seen a recent development that could signal a de-escalation in their diplomatic standoff. Our correspondent, Edikon Michael, examines the situation.
The disputes began in early October when the United States announced a new visa bond pilot program requiring citizens of various countries to post bonds of up to $10,000 when applying for tourist or business visas. Mali was promptly included on this list, with the new policy slated for implementation on October 23, 2025. In response, Mali enacted a retaliatory measure adopting an identical visa bond policy for United States citizens. However, on October 23rd, the United States government published a revised list of countries whose citizens are required to post visa bonds, and notably, Mali was no longer included. This change indicates a relaxation of the United States visa policy stance towards Mali amid ongoing diplomatic negotiations. Reacting to the development, Hein Dunkham, senior lecturer at Teesside University, urged the United States to review and possibly modify the policy to prevent it from disproportionately affecting certain nationalities.
I think actually this is very concerning, because obviously after the tariffs that have been imposed by Donald Trump, we are entering a new phase now where these restrictions could enter the U.S. and other countries into what we describe as immigration or visas as well, war, which can as well lead to restrictions on American citizens entering these countries. So I think this is really concerning.
Washington has used visa policies as a means of political pressure on several African nations in the past couple of months. But this recent decision is seen as a positive step towards improving the bilateral relations, potentially easing travel restrictions and promoting increased cooperation. But nations have yet to make official statement on the matter, but analysts suggest that this move could pave the way for further diplomatic and economic engagement. Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News.
In sport, as the countdown to the 27th Nigerian University Games, NUGA 2025, intensifies, presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi has pledged his support for the Games to be hosted by the University of Jos. He made the pledge when the local organizing committee of the NUGA 2025 paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. Our correspondent, Ramsey Enoch, reports.
The visit is part of an effort to promote the game of sport among Nigerians of all categories, which will build up a hub for sports development at all levels. The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, pledged his commitment and support for the National University Games, that is NUGA 2025, which is scheduled to hold from the 6th to the 16th of November in Jos, Plateau State.
Sports remains a critical component of our development. Sports today, as everybody knows, in all parts of the world, have become an engine of growth because jobs, employment, careers of people, it goes a long way in unifying any place, especially in Nigeria.
The chairman of the organizing committee, Goshen Bella, during the visit gave a breakdown of the activities and infrastructural setup for the smooth running of the games.
As being a lover of sports, and you have passion for youth in the country, we are here also to honor you as an ambassador of the games. In a nutshell, the game has a lot of benefits for the youths of Nigeria. And most importantly, there are other legacy projects that would outlive the games. Notably among them is that infrastructure, which is being built and is ongoing. It's going to host any international tournament.
Ramsey Enoch reporting for Global TV News.
And that's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.